Dogs survived their game against South Carolina 24-14. It wasn't pretty, but week 3, it was all about surviving and moving on. There were some big-time recruits on campus, including a 5-star that is now trending to the Dogs coming off his weekend in Athens. Georgia fans, do me a favor right now. Hit the subscribe button to the On3 Recruits channel. We got this recruiting-only page for you guys, so do me a favor, hit subscribe. Right now, we're going to bring on Rusty Mansell of DawgsHQ to break down Georgia's big visit weekend. Rusty, let's start with 5-star defensive lineman Aiden Breeland out of California. He was at UGA on an unofficial visit, took his official during the summer. Dogs looking good here. Rusty, what are you hearing coming off this trip?
Well, first of all, I got to redo my contract because I don't follow 5 stars. I maybe follow Chad Simmons, so I'm going to have to redo all of that. Yeah, Chad talked with Aiden Breeland, had a great update yesterday on DawgsHQ. I also kind of checked in behind the scenes on this. And, he was there Friday, Saturday, and left on Sunday morning after a breakfast with Kirby Smart. And listen, he is a big-time major target for Georgia. That's no secret. Defensive line is a big priority for them. They've done a tremendous job. Trey Scott, Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann, all spending time with him and kind of letting him know how big a priority he was. He got to spend some time with Warren Brinson. Warren Brinson's name keeps coming up with Georgia. He's one of those guys. As a coaching staff, you have to be confident in a player too. He's showing this player around the weekend. He's basically your representative of the company, so to speak. So Warren Brinson's a name to tuck away because he's been doing some work as well behind the scenes. But, Aiden Breeland, he's a major target there. Oregon, Miami, still the schools in this mix as well. So I think Georgia did everything they needed to do, but he's not committed yet, and he doesn't have a time frame. But I don't see this one going maybe into November. We'll see where Georgia is, but I think probably they feel pretty good there. But I don't think this one's quite over just yet, Josh.
All right, let's take a step back, look at the D-line from kind of an overhead perspective. What does the defensive line board look like, and how much more space does Georgia have to take defensive linemen?
I know this. They want L.J. McCray just as bad as they want anybody left on that board in Athens. This 6'6" defensive end out of Daytona Beach Mainland High School. He's a major target. Just got his 5th star today from Charles Power. Some verified measurements through the summer. His tape is backing that up. And Josh, there's only, as you dig into it, there's only so many of those 6'6", 260, 270-pound bodies. And then when you add that length of 6'6", there's only so many of those basically 5-tech defensive ends. Those are guys who are picture perfect in that 3-4 scheme. And, Georgia seems to be battling Florida right now. He was down at Miami recently as well. So, this is a big target. I don't think this one goes into December as well, but you look at Makai Burrow, can I pronounce his name right one time? Makai Burrow, the defensive lineman out of Creekside. Now, he is a 0-tech, true nose guard, 6'5.5", 375 pounds from Creekside High School, and he decommitted from Florida, I believe, last Monday.
Yeah,
I think Georgia's the favorite there. Now, is this going to be over anytime soon? I don't think so. Michigan is involved as well with that. Some other schools are going to get involved as well. When I start talking about there's only so many body types like that, if you need that true nose guard, that true anchor, that's one of those types of bodies as well. That's few and far between. So there's a kid from Metro Atlanta at Creekside High School. You look at Breeland and those two, I know Georgia would love to find a way. People say, how can they fit them in there? I quit trying to figure out Georgia's numbers a long time ago because the only person that knows that number in that building is Kirby Smart. So if those 3 kids wanted to commit, Georgia would find a way to make sure they're in this class.
Okay. Like you said, there's just not a lot of big athletic bodies out there.
True.
And when you're hot, you got to take them all. Yep. That's what Georgia's trying to do. Now, there was another 5-star on campus that we need to talk about. That's safety KJ Bolden, who committed to FSU in early August. Yep. Now, he did say he'd still be taking trips, so he has stuck good to his word because this weekend he was back in Athens. What should Georgia fans make of this most recent visit for KJ Bolden?
I think you just know that Georgia's not giving up. I mean, I think the interview the day after he committed to Florida State was, look, Kirby, I talked to Kirby Sunday, committed to Florida State on Saturday night. I talked to Kirby. He said, I talked to Kirby on Sunday morning. I talked to Fran Brown on Sunday morning. Georgia they knew that one was not over. Now, I'll say this. I know this family pretty well, know a lot of people around him. Florida State has a really good stronghold on KJ Bolden. And I think as of right now, so if you're looking at 9/18 on September the 18th, I think Georgia is the only school to me that is the legit threat here that has a chance to keep him from Florida State. Now, Josh, we had a chance at the On3 Elite Series in Nashville. We had a chance to meet his family, and it was awesome that his grandparents were there. It tells you how close he is with his grandparents. Here's a little nugget for you. His grandparents came to Athens on Saturday. So that tells you, that he has Georgia just has his attention and his family's attention. He met with Kirby Smart before the game. His family met with Kirby Smart before the game and had got a long meeting for us. So this was Georgia not been on this. This will go all the way to December. I'll say this: I want to try to build things up. I do think Florida State has really good hold on him, but I do think if you're Florida State, the one team that you kind of worry about and how many times they get campaign would be Georgia.
The defending champs, the in-state team. Of course, Florida State's going to have to keep an eye on Georgia throughout until KJ Bolden signs on that dotted line. Yeah. All right, now Georgia has made, or I should say Georgia is trending now heavily for a 5-star edge coming out of this visit weekend. We're talking about 5-star 2025 Zayden Walker, one of the top priorities for the Dogs already in that class. And it looks like they're going to be building another top-ranked class on top of top-ranked class. What are you hearing about Zayden Walker in his potential timetable for a decision?
Well, Chad spoke with him, and Chad was the one that logged that decision in for Georgia. And I'll say this about Zayden Walker. I'm a part of a freshman all-star game in the state of Georgia, Georgia Elite Classic, and we had Zayden Walker his freshman year. And he was playing linebacker, and the sophomore team throws a slant route, and he jumps up in the flat one-handed and intercepts a slant route. I was like, oh my goodness, this kid from Sly County. I had to figure out where Sly County was, to be honest with you. And Zayden Walker, we got him listed as an edge, but I'll tell you long term what he is. He's going to play inside linebacker. And if you've known me over 13 years, I just don't get into the comparison stuff because I feel like it puts too much on the high school player. But I'll say this: it's hard for me not to look at Zayden Walker and think, man, this is Smile Munden. Smile Munden was a 5-star prospect. A lot of people project him next year to be a first rounder or early second round draft pick because he can run and play sideline to sideline. Zayden Walker, man, this guy can fly. I heard his workout in Athens was one of the best ever at that position under this staff. So if Georgia can land Zayden Walker, now his half brother Jalewis Solomon is committed to Auburn, so there's going to be some twists and turns as this one goes down. But if Georgia's able to get him early and hold on to him, that is a massive, massive win for Glenn Schumann.
Well, it was a tight win for Georgia on the field, but it sounds like they made up some ground on the recruiting trail. Rusty Mansell, thank you for stopping by the Inside Scoop today.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.